Assalamualaikum. Hi guys. In this video we are going to continue how to sketch specific shapes of orbital S, P and D orbital based on 3D shape. In the previous video, we know that the shape for specific orbital can be determined from angular momentum quantum number. So you have to know the value for L, and then next you know what is the orbital shape for that value. For example, I have the value for L is 0, 1, 2 and 3. As you see here, the symbol for that orbital is SPDF. Hence, you got the shape for S orbital is spherical, P orbital is dumbbell, and D is cloverleaf. For spherical, on the paper, usually we draw it as a circle. For dumbbell, we draw it as two loops here, like this one. So this is for P orbital. And last but not least, you have cloverleaf. We have 4 loops here. It's just like a cloverleaf. 4 kelopak. So this is the introduction, how you want to draw the shapes of specific orbitals. So right now, I'm going to focus with S orbital. S orbital, we know that it is represented by the value L equals to 0 and M equals to 0. This is because if you got this value, it depends on one orientation. Next, you know, as I mentioned before, we are going to draw in 3D shape, but on paper, 3D shape for spherical S orbital would be as in a circle. So I'm going to draw based on 3-dimensional shape with 3 axes. X, Y, and Z axis. Let's follow the first step first. You have to draw the arrow for 3 axes, X, Y, Z. So I'm going to have my axis, the first one, and then the second, and then the third one. And then after that, I'm going to label my axis as X, Y, Z. Usually the horizontal one, we put it as X. The vertical one, we put as Y. And another one more, we have Z axis. Settle for first step. Next, we are going to draw and shade our orbital. So the shape for my orbital here is S orbital. It will be circle. So I'm going to draw circle here in symmetrical form. And then next, I'm going to shade my circle. So this showing the S orbital. And then settle for step 2. We are going to continue with step 3, label my orbital. So this is S orbital, so of course I'm going to label as S below my drawing. So in this case, based on this shape of orbital, you can know that in one shape of orbital, it can hold maximum 2 electrons. So you can understand that in this orbital, there is a high probability of finding 2 electrons in S orbital, and that 2 electrons can be at this position or this position or this position. So it can be anywhere inside this shading of area in this circle. Next, if I got different value for N, the size of my orbital will get larger when N increases. So I'm going to draw you a bit difference between 3 energy levels. So I'm going to start from N equals to 1, N equals to 2, and N equals to 3. As you see here, we got different value for N, principal quantum number. But I'm going to make it stay for L value equals to 0, so that I can show you the difference between size of the same orbital. So we have all of them same L value. Let's try to draw the drawing for each of them. So I'm going to draw my first step, which is my arrow for 3 axes. So let's start the first step. So as you see here, I got my 3 axes, but I still didn't label that. So I'm going to label my axes. So for example, we start with here as X, here is Y, and here is Z. But I can also put my X here, Y here, and Z here. And also my Z here, X here, and Y here. So it depends on your arrow, but make sure you letak the drawing for anak panah untuk each axis yang you want to draw. So I'm going to start my drawing right now. The shape should be the same, but we should tell the difference based on the size, because we got different size for energy level. So I'm going to draw, the biggest one is for n equals to 3, the biggest circle that I can draw. So this is going to be my biggest circle, and don't forget to shape my orbital. And after that, I'm going to continue with the next lower energy level, n equals to 2, where we have the size for n equals to 2 a bit smaller than n equals to 3. So I'm going to draw my circle a bit smaller, like this one. And don't forget to shape your orbital. Hence, we got the last energy level, the smallest one, n equals to 1. So I'm going to draw a bit smaller compared to n equals to 2, just like this one. And don't forget to shape. So you can see the size difference between 3 different energy levels. And last but not least, step number 3, you have to label your orbital. In this case, the n value is given to you. So you have to write and be specific with your s orbital based on its n value, principal quantum number. So for this drawing, I have n equals to 1 and my L equals to 0 shows s orbital. So my orbital designation for this one is 1s. Next, for this one, the second drawing, I have n equals to 2, so the orbital designation is 2s. And last but not least, we have 3s. So this is how you want to label your orbital shape once you draw that, specifically with the number for principal quantum number, n value. So you have to see whether the questions given to you specific for which energy level or not. If it's general like this one, you just have to label S. But if the question gives you a specific energy level, you have to put the number in front of your labeling for your orbital. So that's it for this video. I hope you can understand how to sketch S orbital from now on. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!